All right, what's going on, folks? Graham Armina here with BleacherReport.com. We've got a very exciting conversation here today with two names you probably know, and how can you not? We got Kurt Warner and Dave Broome on the line here today to talk about this all-new partnership between the NFL Alumni Association, Orange Comet as well, about a new experience, fan-friendly experience. It's called the Locker Room, and we're going to be talking a lot about it here today, and you've probably heard about it. It's going to be coming up very soon. You guys are responsible for a lot of very exciting partnerships up to this point. This is just the latest one. Kurt, Dave, thanks so much, guys, for joining me today. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Graham.
Thanks for having us on.
Dave, I'll start with you. Talk a little bit about, we spoke a little bit before we got started here on the air, but talk a little bit about the partnership between the Alumni Association, Orange Comet, how this came about, and how it kind of stems from other partnerships you guys have been locking in lately, because it seems you guys got a lot of momentum going at this moment.
Yeah. My background comes from, television. I was a television producer for the last 25 years and created all kinds of different shows. That created The Biggest Loser, which was a weight loss series that ran on NBC, and then Sylvester Stallone and I put on Netflix's very first unscripted competition called Ultimate Beastmaster on. And in that process, lots of other things. And over the years, I built out a big studio with a 3D digital design team. So when we decided to really look at the NFT space, our approach was, how can we bring a little bit of Hollywood into NFTs? How can we kind of elevate the creative, so we can engage, the passion in fans and up the fandom. And so when we, started to do that about a year ago, we put that dog and pony show out on the road and specifically went after a lot of different kinds of intellectual properties and, sports, music, entertainment. Of course, having, Kurt Warner be a co-founder within the company doesn't hurt us with our NFL, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And we got introduced over to Craig Richardson, who runs the NFL Alum Association, and they really fell in love with what we were doing and thought that this could be really elevated for the players and for the fans, of course.
Kind of going off that, Kurt, exactly what Dave just said, to have a name like you involved in this thing really just puts a lot of eyes on it from the get-go without even people really knowing what it is, but you read more about it. It's a very exciting experience. Talk a little bit about your involvement, not just with the Locker Room specifically, but like you said, like Dave was talking about, the partnership there and getting involved and everything along those lines.
Well, I think, just between the two of us, and we've got a great team, but, this idea of sports and entertainment. Think about the NFT world, and you think about, I know it's still in its infancy to some degree, but it just seems to fit for those two arenas. And then to be able to have someone like Dave and his team and what they can produce is pretty incredible. And so, I always look at it from different ways. You can always look at it from business perspective. In a big picture from an Orange Comet perspective. But I think as athletes, the unique thing about what we do is that it's a finite time. And, you played it so long and you have basically your entire life left, or half of your life left, to figure out what are we going to do. Mm-hmm. And so this was a great opportunity to start. Hey, Dave, can you mute real quick?
Sure.
All right. I think that's better. And so it's a great opportunity for all these former athletes to be able to figure out, or at least have a piece in the next step. I remember growing up and, what did I do? I would buy packs of cards with bubble gum in them every time I went to the grocery store. And, I would try to hold on to those cards. And then somewhere along the way, I don't know what happened to my thousands of cards. They all disappeared. And, you have all these great items of idols that you had or what have you. And so with the world evolving, I just think the NFT world is a great place for fans of all different statures, whether you're a young kid like I was collecting cards, whether you're a big memorabilia guy that likes to get the biggest and best. This is a great world to be able to step into and create opportunities for, I guess, this new age of fandom. And, everything is done on these things right now, right? You got your phone with you all the time. Who's going to take a player card with them to show their buddies or show their friends? But an NFT, boom, I'm going to bring my phone and I'm going to show people what I've got. And I've got the rookie card of so-and-so, and I've got this, or, even if you're, a higher end collector of things, to be able to, bring it and show, your buddies. And I just think, we're in a different world now. And so this NFT world, although it's new, I believe that there's some real merit to how fandom and being able to collect memorabilia will work moving into the future. And so I think about the NFL Alumni Association. I think about guys like myself, that want to figure out, okay, how do I use what I did for the first 40 years of my life to be able to create my brand or continue to expand my brand. And then one thing that, we're always conscious of as players is this era makes more money than the last era that made more money than the era before that. And so we've got a number of guys in the Alumni Association that played a long time ago that really set the bar and paved the way for all of us that, may be struggling now, whether it be physically or, needing, money for whatever that is. And so that's what I kind of love about this partnership is it's going to allow all the guys, the superstars, to be able to be connected to the locker room and have their piece of the pie. But there's also, going to be an avenue where a portion of what is made through all of these NFTs and through the locker room goes back to the association to help take care of some of those guys that may be struggling, but really, set the bar for us or pave the way for us. So I think there's just so many different angles that I look at and, say there's a business model for Orange Comet, there's a business model for me, but more importantly, it's a chance to impact other people that allowed me to be able to do what I'm doing. So, I'm excited about where the world can go, and I'm excited about Orange Comet and the vision to go. We're going to create unbelievable stuff, and we're going to, be at the forefront of this world. But at the same time, we want to make sure that we do it the right way, that we give fans something special, and we can impact people along the way, whatever that looks like with the different deals that we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, you said it right there. It really benefits everyone. I mean, it's great for you guys, but not only just the fans, but like you said, the players as well, kind of building a life after their football career might be over. And the best part about all of it, you mentioned it earlier, Kurt, it's all virtual. Like there's nothing physically taxing about this. You can enjoy it through a screen, through your phone, which you have on you at all times anyway. It's crazy. Could you have ever imagined 15, 20 years ago, while you're still in just the heat of your career, having an impact on players in this? I mean, obviously you probably figured after you're done, you'd be doing something along the lines of what you're doing now, but not in the sense that it would be all virtual. Because even like you said, NFTs are still in their infancy, but just for them to be what they are and have anything along these lines, even 15, 20 years ago, is such a wild concept.
It is. And, the concept to be able to kind of own a piece of history, to own something that's unique, to own that fandom. Like I said, in the past, it's been, give me a player card. And now I feel like I'm a piece of this. And again, if you've seen any of the stuff that Dave and his team has created, I mean, some of these things, these NFTs are almost like an experience of taking you into the arena and being able to be in that place, because I think we were all growing up. I didn't go to my first professional football game until I played in one. And so I was always that kid, on the outside, outside the fence going, man, can I get a glimpse of one of these guys? Or man, I'd love to be inside, experiencing this. And that's another piece of what we're trying to create is an experience within these NFTs. We've all seen the different NFTs are out there. Some are just like player cards, right? Just digital player cards. But some of the stuff that we've done are just incredible because they take you into almost like a movie, and you get a chance to experience, this piece of history or this piece of sport that you're so connected with. And so it's those kinds of things that, everybody's got to continue to up the game, right? Everything becomes at a new level, and we want to be able to create that for the fans. So it doesn't matter, what level you come in at, everybody gets a chance to go into the locker room, right? And see the stuff that we're creating and, go to the, whether it's, again, I'm just throwing out names, but whether it's Tom Brady or Peyton Manning, or you go back to a Walter Payton or a Jim Brown, I mean, whatever that is, to be able to just walk into that locker room and see different pieces, that relate to all these guys and the history of the game. I just think, I think it allows us to do some really, really unique and fun things that we've never seen before, but it gives our fans an experience that they've probably never had before.
Absolutely. I mean, the potential there is limitless as far as what you can do and continue to add stuff to it in addition to what's already there. You mentioned it there, like exclusive merchandise, meet and greets, all this stuff through the NFT, specifically through the locker room. There's so much that's already there and so much more that can continue to be added with NFTs continuing to grow, as you said. Throwing it back to you, Dave, talking about what Kurt was just talking about, and how the idea for something like this originated, because it is such a cool concept in theory. How do you come up with the idea? How do you sit down and say to yourself, because I know you've been involved with the Walking Dead NFTs, stuff like that, which is a whole other thing, which is really cool in and of itself. With the locker room specifically, unless it was, a joint collaboration, whatever it might be, for this NFT specifically for the locker room, how do you sit down and come up with the idea? All right, we're going to take fans through the locker room. Is it personal experience? Is it something you as a football fan that you've always wanted to experience yourself and you think it's a good idea? Can you kind of take me through the mindset there and creating the locker room and how it kind of came about as far as that goes?
Yeah, definitely. It's funny. These ideas just pop up. Sometimes I've had my biggest hits as television shows where I've been stuck in traffic on the 405 freeway in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And so you get a seed of an idea. It's one thing to create an NFT or a collection of NFTs. What makes this partnership with the NFL alum so special and so cool is that this is a bigger play. This is a plan. This is, I don't want to throw out the M word, but it's a metaverse, but we're really calling it a virtual environment where, and I think that's where the concept started. Like, well, how can we do more than just an NFT collection for a player, whether it's Kurt or any of the players Kurt mentioned? How do we build it out so there's a place where fans go and they can hang in, they can see they walk into this locker room on any given day and they go, oh man, look at that. Look who's there now. Look who has NFTs and other things in their locker. Oh, it's Kurt Warner, it's Bill Sims, Terry Bradshaw, whatever. You open up that locker and now you're seeing not only NFT opportunities for digital collectibles, but as Kurt said, maybe I want to connect with that player. Maybe there's a real world merch. Maybe there's an autograph opportunity. So it's bringing the digital world and the digital collectible space together with immersive experiences and real world merch. And so the concept just came by trying to think bigger and trying to push it. What we're trying to do at Orange Comet is, elevate, at least, for ourselves. I mean, everyone's doing a great job in their own work, but for me, it's always about, how can we be different? How can we be cutting edge? How can we do things that, that people look at and that we feel proud of? I mean, I guess again, pulling back to my own producer days, and Kurt will tell you this as a player, at the end of the day, you want to feel proud of what your work is and your effort. And so I'm challenging myself and I'm challenging the whole team at Orange Comet to really just push beyond what we're seeing out there. And this is a very new space, Graham. It's so nascent. You can think big, you can dream big, and now it's about pulling it off. And, again, I drawing back from my television days, and I remember when I went in and I pitched The Biggest Loser to NBC, and the executive, who's a good buddy of mine, Jeff Gaspin, said, Dave, you need to, if we're going to go forward this, we need like big weight loss for these people. And I said, oh, we're going to get it. He goes, no, I mean really big. And I said, no, we're going to get it. He goes, I mean, you've got to get these people to lose more than 100 pounds. And I said, Jeff, we're going to do it. Don't worry. And I remember walking out there saying, how the hell am I going to get someone to lose 100 pounds of weight? I had no idea how the hell we were going to do that. But you just figure it out. And that's the thing we're doing here with Orange Comet. Like, let's think big, and pull it off.
Very cool. I mean, it's one of those things too where
I was going to jump in here, Graham, just real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talking about the locker room is that I also think that, when you look at sports, everything when it comes to sports is, we hold these people, and obviously it works in TV too, is, we have these icons, have these people that we kind of idolize, these stars out there. And what everybody wants is they want a little peek behind the curtain, right? They want to go into those sacred areas that you never get to see, the behind the scenes stuff in a movie, right? Or, the scenes that were cut out. I want to see that and why they cut it out. And with sports, It's the locker room that we know the guys go back to the locker room. And then what happens in there? What is that all about? What do guys have in their locker? What's that peak like? Because most people will never get a chance to walk into an NFL locker room. And so there is that intrigue that goes with it. And, even if you've gone in as a kid, you're just in awe because it's like, again, I'm going to use the Rams, but, Marshall Faulk and Orlando Pace and, all these great players, and you walk in and you see the name plates and you look in their locker and it just gives you a chance to feel like you're connected in a different way. And so that's what I love about this idea about the locker room is every fan gets a chance to open those doors and step into an NFL locker room, and the greatest NFL locker room that there ever was, because it's, the entire alumni association, who's who in the history of the NFL. And so I love that aspect of things, is that we're pulling back the curtain and going, okay, this is what it's like. And so there's that intrigue and there's that interest of going, okay, what's in Kurt Warner's locker? What would be in Jim Brown's locker? Why is it different? And that to me, I think is a cool piece of this, because you feel like you're walking into something that is expansive and that's unknown, and you get a chance to step in and experience it.
I feel like it started as someone who grew up on like GameCube games and PlayStation and stuff like that. I'm 26 years old. So having grown up on video games, I feel like it started with like the 2K games where you can kind of get a glimpse into the locker rooms. And now anyone can experience this with, the locker room itself and NFTs. And I still am trying to wrap my mind around it, because it is such a crazy concept and it's still becoming a thing. It's wild. And like I said, it's very smart that you guys are jumping in on it early, and especially with a big name such as yourself, Kurt, getting involved. It's a must have for a lot of people. I mean, kind of going off that too, the timing seems like it's perfect. I know this obviously wasn't intentional. You can't plan for this, but the Rams just won the Super Bowl. People are talking about you, Kurt. You just had your movie out. I'll ask you about in a second as we wind down here, but talk about the timing and how all the stars seem to align. And with the Rams winning their second Super Bowl since you were there, first time in 20 years in Los Angeles, no less, the stars just seem to have aligned. It seems just so perfect to be true.
I think they have, to a degree, but as you know, with everything, is that, it really comes back to our team.
Yep.
And I believe we've got a team that can deliver. And so, you can have all the big names you want, and it looks really good on the surface. And then, you get into it and you go, okay, it's not really what we thought, or it's not any different than anybody else. And I think that's what makes it work, is obviously timing is everything for any business, getting in on the ground level, having the right kind of reputable people in whatever, realms for people to go, okay, I know what they're about. And that's why I like our team. We know what they're about. We know what they're going to deliver. But I think as much as anything, it's being able to deliver the goods. And, we've been very cautious of putting a lot of our stuff out there until, we're at the point. But we really feel like in this space, we've got the team put together to deliver something that's unique, something that's special, and something that will set us apart. Or if somebody, gets involved, something that will set them apart from, some of the other things that are out there at this point. And so I think that, it's all encompassing from that standpoint, is that I'm, excited that, Dave and Will Maris, who is a friend of mine, kind of really started this and had the idea, the brainchild for this. And they, reached out to me and brought me in at the ground level. And I'm like, man, this is a great opportunity to do a lot of different things, as we talked about before, a lot of different layers, but to be able to use this realm and into the future to be able to impact other people. And so I think it's, crazy how it works sometimes. I wanted that movie to come out years and years ago. And then here we are, what seemed like after the fact, but the story behind the movie with where we're at in the pandemic, I think hits the nail on the head. And then, when you've got new things that you're trying to get into and dive into, there's nothing wrong with really good publicity. And so I think that has definitely helped as well.
Exactly. Your name's out there right now, Kurt. People are going to be talking about you. They're going to be talking about the NFTs, talking about the locker room. It works out perfectly. I got a 9-year-old sister, and when I told her yesterday to be talking to you today, she's extremely excited. She's a big football fan. My brother got her into football. She's more of a Buccaneers fan. And she was cheering for the Rams in the Super Bowl. She's obviously very happy that they won. She just saw the movie a couple of months ago when it just came out. Like you said, it literally just released 2 months ago from when we're speaking right now. So she was extremely excited to know that I was talking to you today, being a big fan of the movie. real quickly, just knowing that you have an impact on it. Like I said, she's 9 years old, and people that grew up watching you, people, on the older side, whatever it might be, knowing that you've had an impact, not on just the players, like you said, through the Alumni Association and being involved with a great project like this, through everything that you've accomplished in your career and are still contributing in different ways to all this different stuff, even by putting out a movie and having Zachary Levi play you in this movie, which is super cool. I mean, what does that mean to you?
It's pretty crazy because obviously I have a journey unlike anybody else. And for a long time, I wished that I had anybody else's journey but my own. I wanted it to play out differently. I had a different dream when I was growing up. And so I found myself, saying, why me? Why do I have to be this guy? Why do I have to work in a grocery store? And then it becomes full circle when you get to this point and you go, oh my gosh, there's a lot of great players out there, but very few of them have movies made about them.
Yeah.
People make movies about people's journeys and stories that are different, that are unique, that can connect with people. And that's been, I think, the most beautiful and humbling part of this whole project is that people thought my story, could impact people. So they wanted to make it into a movie, and then to see that happen and to see it happen with all kinds of different people. I think that's the beauty of this movie is that it's not just my story.
Mm-hmm.
B, it's not just a football story. It's a life story, and it's about a family of underdogs. It's about my wife's journey that is unique from mine. It's about my son's journey that is unique from both of ours. Yet all of us have found ourselves in underdog situations differently, and all of us came together, and we needed each individual part to be able to come together and accomplish and be where we're at today. And that's what I think resonates with so many different people is that you can be a football fan, you can be a dreamer, a sports dreamer like I was when I was a kid, and you watch this movie and it gives you hope and it gives you excitement and you're encouraged by it. You can be, two people, fighting in a relationship and the challenges that go into that. And you can be impacted by that. You can be parents and you can be impacted by that. You can see someone with disabilities and you understand the labels and the different challenges and the way people define you by your disabilities, and you can be inspired by what my son does. And so I just think there's so many different levels in this movie. Another beautiful part that I love about this movie is, in the movie, a lot of times it's coaches, but how each coach needed to help teach me something that would ultimately define me and allow me to be successful later on. And so even if you're not, the main character in a movie, there's so many people along the way that you say, hey, I can be that for this person's journey, and I can help them learn what they need to learn so they can find themselves on the mountaintop one day. So I just think there's so many great levels to this movie that every audience member that comes will be impacted by it, whether you're a 9-year-old, that is a football fan, whether you're an older person that doesn't necessarily like football, whether you find yourself muddling through life trying to figure out how I get to where I want to go. There's something in this movie for everybody, and the response has been really, really positive, and it's been encouraging, and it's been very, very humbling.
I mean, you said it yourself. This is a story that anyone can really get into. I know people that aren't even football fans that saw the movie and absolutely loved it and know who you are now because they saw the movie. So it's really cool to know that as well. And I asked her for questions for me to ask you here today. She couldn't think of anything. She was pretty speechless that I'd be talking to her. Her name is Delia. So at the very least, I wanted to say hi on her behalf to you. And she really much appreciated that. But yeah, it's a really cool time right now with the movie out, with the NFT stuff, with the locker room, a lot of stuff for people to look forward to. As we wind down here, Dave, I'll throw back to you. Give me all the details. Where can people look forward to this? Find out more information, not just about the locker room, but Orange Comet as well. Website, social media, everything where people can find you guys and find out more about the locker room.
Yeah, thanks, Graham. I mean, everybody.com, our website, they can sign up, get on for the early notification for the locker room. They'll get on our mail list. We'll send them stuff. They'll get on an early list so we can give them some great insight. We'll be sharing stuff. They can join our Discord community. If anyone is on Discord, you can go to Orange Comet. They can see that. We're right now, you'll see one of the Walking Dead channels. We're doing a whole massive Walking Dead release on Thursday, March 3rd on OpenSea. That is part of our community. So the plan really is, we're going to make announcements later on in this year as we get closer to the football season kicking back off. Locker room will be open. NFTs will be out, experiences will be out. So love everybody and to check us out on orangecomet.com, and then we can start to bring them into the OC family.
Very cool. People could check it out all right there. Like you said, orangecomet.com. I know you guys have social medias as well, so people can follow you there. Any parting words, Kurt, on as far as the locker room talk goes, and anything else you'd like to say as we wind down here and right off into the sunset?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would just echo what Dave was saying is jump on and check it out. I understand it's a new world. We've had a bunch of meetings and a bunch of conversations over the past few months going, okay, what is this and where is it going and how can we separate ourselves? But I think if people jump on and just check it out, they're going to be pleasantly surprised with the experience they get. And, the other thing that we want to try to do is I think some people see these NFTs and think, oh, it's for the big time collectors. And if I'm going to get something, I got to drop a whole bunch of different money.
Yeah.
Something, and something that we're always trying to do is we're trying to say, hey, these things are for the fans. And so we want to make different levels. We want to create different opportunities. Mm-hmm. So no matter where you find yourself and what you're capable of from a financial standpoint, that you can still peek behind the curtain. You can still have a chance to gain an experience that you wouldn't have otherwise. And that's very important to us at Orange Comet, is that it's not just about making money and playing to the biggest collectors. Yeah. It's about understanding The Walking Dead has a fan base that, runs the gamut. The NFL has a fan base that runs the gamut from 9-year-olds to, 70-year-olds. It doesn't matter, but we want to be conscious of that as we create these things with Orange Comet and make sure that everybody feels like they can be a part of what we're creating and be a part of that locker room or that metaverse, as Dave likes to term it, because we want to give everybody experience and we want to build that fan base for The Walking Dead. We want to build that fan base for the NFL. And so we're all working together in the same trajectory to do the same sort of things, which is impact the different generations that are fans of what we're connected to.
You said it yourself. Everyone can enjoy this. Everyone can benefit from it. And I think that's the best part about it. So locker room coming soon. People can look forward to that. Like David said, orangecomet.com for more information. Kurt, Dave, thanks so much for the time, guys. I really appreciate it. Really excited about everything coming up.
Hey, Greg, thank you so much as well for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it.
Thanks a lot, Graham.
Absolutely. Appreciate it, Kurt. Thanks, Dave.